everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of Still Crazy After All These Beers. I'm Gary Montegrosso. I have two special guests. One you'll recognize from a recent episode, and that's Mr. Tim Kelly, who's the head brewer at the Tun Tavern. Tim, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Good day to you, sir.
And it's good to see you again. And a special guest is Mr. Ray Gourley. Now, Ray, why are you here? You do something kind of unique that involves beer.
I grow hops.
You grow hops. Now, why do you grow hops?
It was for the fun of it.
But you're a home brewer, I would assume, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now, hops are very expensive. I mean, the economy being as such as it is, the price of hops, and no one has to tell you, Tim, has just gone through the roof. Is that part of the reason why you've gotten into growing hops, or are you just for the fun of it?
It was just for an interest, yeah.
First time you've done it?
This is the fourth season.
What species, if you will, or what variations of hops are you growing?
Cascade, Nugget, and Chinook.
Why did you choose those?
Some of the beers that I liked used Cascades, and that's what I started with, Cascades and Chinook. And the Cascades have really been very vigorous, so I kept those. I've tried a few others. They didn't do quite as well, but I've stuck with the Cascades. And the Nuggets are doing really nice.
Now, Ray, of course, when we think of types of hops like Cascade, we think of the Pacific Northwest, certainly. How did this year's climate interact with the crop you grew?
This year, it was a slow start. Because everything was cool and wet for a long time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it was
kind of as you mentioned, a cool, wet spring.
But then it got hot and dry after a little while. I had a longer growing season, I think, this year than I have in the past. Because I had several different. I harvested 2 or 3 times.
And what's interesting is not just did you grow hops for your use, but you've actually supplied some to the Tun Tavern in Atlantic City, right?
Yes, absolutely. I gave Tim about 4 or 5 pounds this year.
Tim, let's talk a little bit about that. Tell me what he gave you and what you integrated into your recipes.
Well, again, as he said, it was a good year for him. He got a couple harvests. So the first harvest basically just gave me a mix of everything, the Cascade, Nugget, and Chinook. Basically, I used them as the dry hop in the IPA at the Tun Tavern. It's first time I've used fresh, wet hops, as they're called, when they're harvested fresh like that. And it's interesting. It definitely has a slightly different flavor than the packaged leaf hop that I would buy from the purveyor. There's definitely, again, the fresh. You can't beat fresh ingredients in anything. It just comes through, screaming through.
And that was kind of my next question. How did the availability of super fresh hops? I mean, you really addressed that. How did that impact on your beer? And you're really happy with it, right?
Oh, ecstatic. Again, he gave me another crop about a week or so ago. Got another fresh batch of IPA on with the hops. I set some aside, so come December or another month or two when I need to brew another batch, I'll have some to finish off the year. And then with the purveyor, the contracts kick back in, so I can get through the winter with what they'll give me. And then hopefully by next summer, not only will he be growing them, his friends will be growing them, and my friends, and hopefully I'll have a little bit more of a ready supply of fresh hops.
We're kind of seeing that all over, right? I mean, we're seeing so many people that are springing up and growing hops, the home brewers, but actually there's a couple professional brewers that are doing this as well.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
Mm-hmm. Now, if I had to ask you your flagship beer, what would that be?
Flagship beer?
In terms of what you like to make.
Oh, well, we've done 2 or 3 years running now. We've done a single batch of wet hop, and so that's along the lines of a very strong IPA. Maybe an Imperial, the double IPA.
Interesting. I tell you, I think that's really great. I mean, it's almost a throwback to World War II when people planted the victory gardens, and you're seeing so much of that in our world, the beer world. And let's face it, the economy's driving that, right, Tim?
Absolutely. You could probably even take it back to Prohibition. You can't get the stuff, so grow it yourself.
What was Prohibition, by? Okay. Thank God those days are long since past, but...
Cheers.
Well, listen, Ray, congratulations on doing that. And, Tim, you're reaping the benefits of Ray's efforts.
Yes.
Well, we all are.
He of course gets his cut of the beer. He gets his.
That was part. You can kind of like, we can't say you walk in there and you drink, but you can have your beer.
I do enjoy some when Tim provides it, yes.
Over at the Tun Tavern in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Yes.
And I'll tell you what, it's a great location. The food's great. And thanks for joining us, Ray and Tim, again. And we will see you next time on Still Crazy After All These Beers.
I'm still crazy after all of these beers. through the years, winter, summer, springtime too. Crazy here, after all these beers, there is only one for me, and you know that I'll always be crazy after all these beers.